This is the fourth video in the course on Ikigai. Welcome back. Up to now, we've been looking at the emotional and psychological side of this journey. The feeling of success that doesn't feel like success, the golden handcuffs, the inherited maps, and the hidden advantages of being where you are in life right now. All of that is important context. In this video, we're going to get more concrete. We're going to introduce the core framework that we'll use throughout the rest of the course, the Ikigai model. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand what the four circles are, why they all matter, and how this model can help you evaluate decisions and design experiments in a much clearer way than just follow your passion or be practical. Let's start with a quick overview. The word Ikigai is often translated as reason for being. In the way we're using it here, it's a way of thinking about the intersection of four elements in your life. First, what you love, those activities, topics, and ways of working that genuinely energize you, that make you feel engaged and alive. Second, what you're good at, your strengths, abilities, and areas where you can create real value because you have skill, not just interest. Third, what the world needs, real problems, desires, and opportunities out there that other people genuinely care about. And fourth, what you can be rewarded for, ways of contributing that can realistically support you, whether through money or some other form of tangible exchange. When these four come together in a certain configuration, you get work and a life that feels meaningful, useful, and sustainable. That's the heart of Ikigai. You've probably seen a version of this as a Venn diagram with four overlapping circles. It's a nice visual, but I want to emphasize something crucial. This is not meant to be a pretty poster on your wall. It's meant to be a practical tool you actually use to make sense of your decisions. Let's walk through each circle in more depth. The first circle is what you love. This is often described in terms of passion, but we're going to be more precise than that. When we say what you love, we're talking about the kinds of activities and contexts where you feel a sense of aliveness. You might lose track of time. You might feel highly engaged. You might finish and feel more energized than when you started, even if you're physically tired. These are the moments of joy, curiosity, and flow that the book goes into in more detail later. They're not always glamorous. You might love quietly solving a complex problem. You might love talking one-on-one with someone who's struggling. You might love designing systems, teaching, building with your hands, analyzing patterns, or telling stories. And it's important to understand that loving something doesn't mean it's always easy. It means it feels meaningful and worthwhile. The second circle is what you're good at. This includes natural talents, but also skills you've developed over time. Sometimes you're the last person to notice what you're good at because it feels normal to you. You might think, doesn't everyone find this easy? Often, they don't. What you're good at can be technical skills like coding or design, but it can just as easily be relational skills like listening, mediating, explaining, or organizing. The book talks about strengths and mastery as something you build through practice and feedback, not something you either magically have or don't. That's important because we don't want to be trapped by a fixed idea of talent. You may well have strengths you haven't fully developed yet because your current context doesn't ask for them. The third circle is what the world needs. This is where we leave the purely internal space and start paying attention to the people and systems around us. What the world needs doesn't have to mean global problems, although it can. It can also mean what your specific community, industry, or audience needs. It's about real people with real frustrations, desires, and hopes. Later in the course, we'll talk about empathy interviews and the jobs to be done idea. Ways of deeply listening to understand what people are trying to accomplish and where they're stuck. For now, just hold on to the idea that if your work is going to matter, it has to connect with needs outside your own head. The fourth circle is what you can be rewarded for. This often shows up in the form of money, but reward can also mean other kinds of tangible value, like access, resources, or opportunities. This circle brings economic reality into the picture. It asks, is there a way for me to do this in a way that supports my life over time? This is the circle that many purpose-driven people are tempted to ignore, especially if they've been burned by purely money-driven decisions in the past. But if your work is not sustainable, financially, emotionally, energetically, it will eventually collapse. Then your purpose doesn't actually reach people, and you're back to crisis. Now, what makes Ikigai different from a lot of advice out there is that it insists that all four of these circles matter. Many popular messages focus on just one or two. Follow your passion and the money will come. Or be practical, get a stable job, and don't worry about whether you love it. Or serve others, sacrifice yourself, don't think about your own needs. Each of these partial stories has a grain of truth, but they're incomplete. Over time, they lead to different kinds of pain. In the next video, we'll talk about those partial overlap traps in more detail, but I'll preview them here to make this point clear. You can have passion and skill, but if there's no real need and no path to reward, you end up in what the book calls beautiful poverty, doing something you love and are good at, but constantly stressed about survival. You can have skill and reward without love or a sense of contribution, and you land in the classic golden handcuffs: high income, high competence, low meaning. You can have passion and a genuine desire to serve, but if you lack skill or any sustainable reward, you burn out trying to carry the world on your shoulders. The Ikigai model asks you to zoom out and consider all four circles together. Not because you're going to perfectly balance them overnight, but because being aware of which circles are present and which are missing gives you language for the discomfort you feel and points to what needs to change. Let's ground this with our three example characters. With Sarah, we can see that she had strong circles of skill and reward. She was clearly good at the work. People relied on her. She was paid well. But the love and need elements were uneven. She didn't love the core tasks most of her time was spent on, and she didn't feel a direct connection to human needs. Her work felt abstract and distant from the people it ultimately affected. When she started shifting toward helping individual clients and small businesses understand their finances, she began filling in the love and need circles. She was still using her accounting skills, and she could still be paid, but now the work felt like it actually mattered. With David, especially post-retirement, the reward circle in the traditional sense had shrunk. He wasn't seeking a paycheck anymore, but he still had a strong skill circle and a latent love circle. He cared about building safe, functional environments. What was missing was need and a new kind of structure. By volunteering in community projects, he plugged his skills into real needs. He regained a sense of Ikigai by reconnecting to usefulness and contribution, even outside of paid work. With Jessica, her skill and reward circles were big. She was good at marketing and well paid, but the love and need circles were underfed. She didn't love optimizing campaigns for products she didn't care about, and she didn't feel that the work met needs that mattered to her personally. By gradually moving into work with nonprofits and impact-focused organizations, she kept her skills and reward while dramatically increasing her sense of love for the work and alignment with needs she believed in. You can probably already see yourself somewhere in these patterns. Maybe your love circle is strong, you have clear passions, but your reward circle is tiny, and you're constantly stressed about money. Maybe your skill and reward circles are huge, but your love and need circles feel anemic. Or maybe you're still figuring out where your strengths and passions lie, but you're very attuned to what the world needs. The point of this model is not to make you feel judged. It's to give you a simple way to say, this is why I feel the way I do. This circle is underdeveloped and this one is overdominant. No wonder I'm feeling the strain. As we move forward in the course, we're going to use this model in a very practical way. You'll be creating your first Ikigai hypothesis map, where you start listing clues in each circle based on your real life. You'll be running small experiments and projects to test your assumptions in the real world. You'll be using feedback, not just wishful thinking, to refine your sense of what might sit at the intersection of these four circles for you. Before we get to those exercises, I'd like you to do a quick mental scan of your own life through this lens. You don't need to write anything down yet unless you want to. Just listen to these four questions and notice what comes up. First, what do I genuinely enjoy doing that leaves me feeling more alive afterward? Not what looks impressive, not what I wish I enjoyed, but what I actually enjoy. That's the love circle. Second, What am I actually good at? Where do people naturally come to me for help? What do others say I do well? Where have I consistently gotten results? That's the skill circle. Third, where do I see real needs in the world around me? Needs that I care about enough to want to help with. These might be in your workplace, your community, or in broader issues you feel drawn to. That's the need circle. Fourth, where have I already been rewarded for something I do or create? This might be your current job, past work, or even small side projects. It answers the question, what have people actually been willing to pay for from me? That's the reward circle. You may notice that some questions are easy and others feel foggy. That's completely fine. The fuzziness is where the work is. This course will help you generate clearer answers over time. As we go forward, the Ikigai model will become your decision filter. When you consider a potential path, project, or role, you'll be able to ask, does this move me closer to the intersection of all four circles? Or does it strengthen one circle while starving the others even more? Sometimes you may intentionally choose to focus on building one circle for a while. For example, developing a new skill or exploring what you love, but you'll do it with awareness of how it fits into the bigger picture. To wrap up this video, here's a simple reflection you can do today. Pick one area of your life, most likely your work, but it could also be a major role you play, like caregiving or a big personal project. Then rate how strong each of the four circles feels for that area on a simple scale from 1 to 10. How strong is the love circle there? How much do you enjoy it? How strong is the skill circle? How capable and effective do you feel? How strong is the need circle? How much do you feel that it addresses real needs you care about? And how strong is the reward circle? How sustainable is it materially? You don't have to be precise. Just trust your gut. If you notice a big imbalance, for example, high skill and reward but low love and need, that's a clue worth paying attention to. It doesn't mean you need to make a dramatic change tomorrow. It does mean that we've just identified where some of your discomfort or restlessness might be coming from. In the next video, we're going to dive into those imbalances in more detail. We'll look at the common traps of partial overlap, what happens when you have only 2 or 3 circles but not all 4, and how each trap shows up in real life. This will help you diagnose your current situation more precisely and see where you might want to focus your efforts first. For today, just hold on to this. You don't have to choose between passion and practicality or between meaning and money. The Ikigai model invites you to aim for an intersection where you can bring together what you love, what you're good at, what others truly need, and what can support your life. It's not always easy, and it doesn't happen overnight, but it is possible. And now you've got a clear framework to guide you. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore the traps and how to avoid getting stuck in them.